Hello guys, now we are on the game 7 in the strategy of the center. The game is played between Tarrasch and Nova. The game goes e4, e6, d4, d5, knight c3, knight f6, e5, knight fd7, knight ce2, c5, c3, knight c6, f4, cd4 and cd4. Now bishop b4 check. Here black wants to cause confusion in white's camp, pressuring both b2 and d4 pawns and instantly finishing development. The downside is exchanging the dark squared bishop. Now bishop d2, queen b6, knight f3, castle shot, bishop takes, queen takes on b4, and now queen d2, now knight b6. The knight will be badly placed on b6, but it liberates d7 for the bishop. Now knight c3. Now rook d8. Black probably wanted to be able to take with the d pawn after the knights are exchanged on c4. Here knight b5, bishop d7, and then knight to d6, rook a b8, rook c1, queen takes d2, king takes d2, straight to an endgame, although it would be no mistake calling it a middle game. White's advantage is stable due to better centralization, a better bishop and more space. And now knight c8, and it is reasonable to exchange the knight on d6, but white keeps the knight alive, a good idea because of the space advantage. Here black's a6 move was more logical, so that the exchange of knights would be inevitable. Now the white knights again goes to b5, now a6, now knight c3. Now it can be placed on b6 or c5 via a4. Now knight 8 e7, bishop d3, rook b c8 and b3, with the idea to protect the knight on the a4 and avoid some discovered attack from the d7 bishop. Now knight b4, now a3, now knight b c6, now b4. White gains more space on the queen side while eliminating the possibility of black's knight a5. White is ready to organize an kingside expansion. He who stands better in the center should play on the flanks. Now h6. This move does nothing to prevent the expansion. So h4, knight b8. Now black's pieces are without prospects, blocked by the pawns on d5 and e6. White's pieces are centralized and are much better. They are very active and can go anywhere on the board. Now king e3, rook c7, rook c2, rook dc8, rook hc1 and king f8. Now g4, bishop e8, knight d2, the knight goes to c5, now knight d7, knight b3, now knight b6, knight c5, knight c4 check, bishop takes c4, d takes c4, and knight 5 e4. The other knight is blockading the pawn, so b5, knight d6, rook b8, I'm sorry, rook b8 and f5, and now bishop to d7, rook f2, and knight d5 check. Now knight takes and e takes. Now g5, h5, rook c f1, king g8, now g6, f6, rook e2. Now the rooks will be transferred to the e file. Now bishop c6, rook fe1, rook d8, king f4, fe5, rook takes e5, king f8, rook knight f7, and then now king and rook, knight g5, rook c e7, and knight h7 check, and black resigned here. So thank you all guys.